We are talking a lot about chemicals in the food system. Stacy, you wrote a book about chemicals in the cosmetic industry. Do you want to comment on that, on how it relates to this?
So I'll just say, well, that's how I got started, was looking at chemicals in cosmetics and trying to educate women about the products that we're putting on our face and our hair, and the bathtubs with our kids also contain toxic chemicals, and many of the same chemicals used in lots of products. And people think of the beauty industry as innovative, but it's actually remarkably not. They've been using the same formulations in all the products for decades, and that's from the most expensive to the least. Where they have been innovative is in packaging and then marketing and finding new ways to convince us that we need, our hair should be straighter, our hair should be lighter, our skin should be lighter, our skin should be darker with spray-on tans, our lips should be plumper. We just aren't good enough the way we are. So we all have to go out and buy a bunch of toxic chemicals to make ourselves feel beautiful and whole. I loved what you said, Ocean, about the monocropping of the mind and the colonization of the mind. I think that's the biggest thing that we're having to fight against. And also the grief of it and the overwhelm. And having worked against beauty companies for years and then switched to food and pesticides, it's so much harder. It's so much harder because the resistance is so much greater. The propaganda campaigns are so much more sophisticated, aggressive, and desperate. Because as we've said, and all of us have said, our food system can't continue as it is, and it actually it requires these massive propaganda campaigns to sustain it. So I hope that I hope that's crumbling. I feel that it is, and that people are seeing through to the truth, and that you can't stop the rise in consciousness that's happening around these issues. And that all of us talking to each other and talking to our communities and being a leader in your community to be that person who's the pesty one, the relative that everybody rolls their eyes at. Some of you are probably that. I've definitely been that. But then they start to listen, and they start to see and experience in their own health that you might be onto something there. And I think that's how people are finding each other, is through searching for answers that they're not getting from doctors, and they're not getting from mainstream medicine, they're not getting in the schools. But they're seeing someone over there who dealt with this, or finding someone online, finding communities of help, people who've experienced it. So connecting in these times of such disconnection is super important. I hope we get to solutions. I think holding the grief is really important, not to say we can fix this easily. We can't. And I think even for those of us who've done this for 20 years myself, I have, but really the grief of it is just hitting me now from a combination of factors of really seeing like this is beyond. This can't be denied or ignored if you're really looking. Once you see, you can't unsee. So that's a problem everyone here will have if you don't have it already. You've taken the red pill or the blue, whichever. You really can't unsee once you see. So what do we do with that? We do have to hold it, and then we need to share it. And even if it's hard, and find ways to talk to each other. Because the other thing I could say is we agree on so much more than we disagree about. Absolutely. The people across this country in both political parties and every party, people who don't vote, they are really pissed off about what's happening with the food. We raised millions of dollars online from small donors in the GMO labeling campaigns. Bernie Sanders' campaign has raised nothing ever like it has been organized in political history, because people are looking for some way to have hope and to give. So I think these are incredibly positive signs, and I think the connection is there. And whatever we can do in our own worlds from our own vantage point, it doesn't matter what you do actually in the world, whether you're in a corporation, work for a pesticide company, start your own small company, or just a parent, or just anything that you're doing in the world, is a place that needs change and healing and love and connection. So that's something we can stand more for every day and help each other.